Okay, welcome to today's game between the first place Otto Eldred Lady Terrors and your Port Allegany Gators. We're getting started here with Bria Wilcox on the mound. First pitch will be a ball. Ball two called. Jaden Smith leading off for Otto Eldred. And ball three to Smith. Strike one called. 3-1 count on Smith. And ball four. So leadoff walk to Smith as second baseman Bickford will be up for Otto Eldred. Ball one. Bickford squares the bunt but takes a called strike. Bickford squares again. That goes to Evans at third. She picks it up. And Bickford's going to beat that out for a single as Smith takes third as nobody's covering. So the Lady Terrors have runners on first and third here with no outs, and freshman Bailey Francis up to bat. Ball one called as Bickford's going to steal second. Ball one high. Ball two. Swing and a miss there by Francis. And Francis draws a walk. Base is loaded now for catcher Kerry Drummond. That's grounded to O'Rourke, and off her glove, it's going to roll into center. And Bickford's going to come around to score. So a 2-run error for Drummond. So Lady Terrors get the first 2 runs of the game. They still have runners on first and second with no outs. And Van Scooter will be up. Strike one called. Francis with a big lead at second, but she'll get back. That ball bounces past Eric. Both runners will be standing up as they advance on the wild pitch. Ball 3 on Van Scooter. So 3-1 count here, no outs. And the Lady Terror's already with a 2-0 lead. And a swing and a miss there for Van Scooter. That'll make it a full count. And ball 4. Once again, bases loaded. Francis at third. Drummond at second. Van Scooter at first. And Lexi Prince, the right fielder, will be up to bat as the Gators are going to take a quick timeout here to discuss things. Lady Gators ready now. Prince will dig in with the bases loaded and no outs. And ball 1 is high. Ball 2's high. Strike 1 called. 2-1 count. Swing and a mix there. 2-2 count. And ball 3, bit inside. So another full count here for the Terrors. And Prince fouls that one off to stay alive. And a swing and a miss for the first out of the inning for the Lady Gators. So Prince will head to the dugout. And the starting pitcher, Rael Hakes, will be up. Hakes lines that one towards second. O'Rourke will pick it up. She tags the runner, so we'll get a force out at second. I think the Gators might have got the benefit of that call. It looks like she may have missed her, but Van Scooter's telling her coach the same thing as she heads to the dugout. 2 outs now with runners on the corners. And McDibbott, the left fielder, will be up. Hakes is going to take second on the wild pitch. Drummond hangs at third. Swing and a miss there for McNivet. One count. Strike two called. And strike three called. So Wilcox is able to get out of the jam. Lady Terrors do score three, though, as we head to the bottom of the first with the Terrors leading 3-0. Lineup for the Gators today. Sienna Lathrop will be leading off playing left field. Pitcher Wilcox will be batting second. Catcher Eric is batting third. Elena McCurvey, the right fielder, is batting cleanup. Fifth place hitter will be Gianna Glasgow, the shortstop. Sixth place hitter will be Bryn Evans, the third baseman. Batting seventh is the DH, Alyssa Tanner. Batting eighth will be the center fielder, Emily Eric. And batting ninth, the first baseman, Peyton Gordon. Once again, Hakes will be on the mound for the Terrors. She did pitch in the first game between these two teams. Lefty has pretty good speed and very good control. All right, Sienna Lathrop leading off for the Lady Gators as they try to hang in here against the first place Otto Eldred Terrors. And a swing and a miss for strike one. And Lathrop grounds that one to first. It's going to be picked up foul by Francis, so an 0-2 count here on Lathrop. And Lathrop hangs with a foul ball there. Hakes with a nice riser. And a swing and a miss for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up pitcher Bria Wilcox. Wilcox fouls that one straight back. Strike two called. That ball's a bit low. 1-2 count here on Wilcox. Wilcox takes that one high. 2-2 count. Strike three called, and Wilcox knew it. She was headed back to the dugout before Mr. Thomas made the call. And that'll bring up Maddie Eric, catcher for the Lady Gators. Eric will take a strike at the knees for 0-1 count. And a changeup for strike two. And Eric lines that one to first. That's fielded by Francis, who will step on the bag for out number 3. So a 1-2-3 inning there for the Lady Terrors, and we'll head to the top of the second with Otto Eldred leading 3-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Okay, we're back to the top of the second here. And Pierce was going to lead off for the Terrors. And she'll take strike one. And Pierce grounds one to third. Evans fields it, fires it to first. Gordon with a stretch for out number 1. And back to the top of the lineup here with Smith. Smith grounds that one to first. It's going to be foul. Smith led off the game with a walk last inning. And she grounds that one into the hole. It's short. Glasgow tries to knock it down, but she's unable to make a play on the infield single there for Smith. That'll bring up Bickford. Bickford bunted her first plate appearance and was safe on the play. She squares the bunt again. That one's going to be foul as Matty Eric picks it up. She squares again. Takes that one outside for ball one. Ball high, so 2-1 count on Bickford. Bickford squares again, pulls back, and Eric tries to throw out Smith, who was stealing, but she gets there for a stolen base and a 3-1 count. And that one's going to be foul from Bickford, so a full count after 2 bunt attempts. And Smith will head back to second with the 3-1 count. Or, I'm sorry, full count. And a swing and a miss for out number 2 from Wilcox. So 2 down, Francis up. Francis drew a walk in the first inning. And a swing and a miss there as the ball goes to the backstop and Smith takes third. So 0-1 count here. And another swing and a miss for Francis. 0-2 now with 2 outs. That ball bounces as Matty Eric knocks it down and keeps Smith at for third. And ball 2 gets past. Smith coming in. And she's going to slide in safe on the wild pitch. That'll make it 4-0 for Otto Eldred. The 2-2 count here on Francis and 2 outs. And Francis just tips that one. Stay alive. And ball 3. Full count now on Francis with 2 outs. And ball 4 outside. So Francis draws her second walk of the game. That'll bring up Drummond, who reached on an error to the second baseman last inning. Ball 1. swing and a miss there for Drummond as Francis takes a big lead at first, but she's going to head back. Shout out to the Port Allegany ground crew today. All the rain we received last night, we wouldn't expect to be playing today, but they did a great job getting the field ready. Drummond fouls that one back. 1-2 count. And that ball bounces in. Eric stops it, and Francis is going to head back to first. Ball 3 high. Eric snaps that one back to first. Francis dives in safe. Full count now on Drummond. Francis will be running on the pitch. And strike 3 called. Nice pitch there from Wilcox as she limits the Terrors to 1 run that inning. And we'll head to the bottom of the second with a score 4-0 in favor of Otto Eldred. We'll be back in 60 seconds. So, Elena McCurvey will be leading off here for the Lady Gators. Ball 1. Kirby fouls that one off for 1-1 count. Hakes gets a sign and readies. And called strike for a 1-2 count on McCurvey. McCurvey fouls that one off. Count remains 2-2. And ball 3 low. Full count here on McCurvey. Gators looking to get their first base runner of the afternoon. McCurvey grounds that one to first. Francis charges it. She's going to flip it over to Bickford, who's there for the first out of the inning. Nice defense there by the Terrors. And that'll bring up Glasgow for the Lady Gators. Strike one called at the knees. And Glasgow lines that one up the middle for a single and the first hit for the Lady Gators. So that'll bring up third baseman Bryn Evans. Swing and a miss there from Evans as she just foul tipped it. Hakes gets a call. Drummond sets up low and outside, and Hakes hits the glove, but it's a bit too far outside as Drummond throws down to first, and Glasgow gets back easily. Drummond again sets up outside. And Evans lines that one to left field for another base hit. That goes off of the left fielder's foot. Glasgow's going to round third. She's coming towards home. Smith's going to hold that as Evans stands at second. And the Lady Gators get a run across to make the score 4-1 here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Alyssa Tanner. Tanner fouls the first pitch off. Looks like the Lady Gators have done a little better job adjusting to the speed of Hakes since the first matchup. That pitch is a bit low. 1-1 count here on Tanner. Tanner fouls that pitch off. 1-2 count. And a swing and a miss there for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring up Emily Eric, the center fielder, with 2 outs and Evans on second. Swing and a miss there from Eric, who's going with the 1 batting glove look today. Strike 2 called on the outside corner. 0-2 count here with 2 outs. And swing and a miss for strike 3. But the Lady Gators do push one across. Makes the score 4-1 as we head to the top of the third. Van Scooter leading it off here in the top of the third for the Lady Terrors. Ayla walked her first plate appearance, and she takes a ball from first pitch. Ball too high. And Van Scooter fouls that one off. Be a 2-1 count. Ball 3 high. And ball 4 bounces in. So Van Scooter draws a leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Prince. Prince struck out swinging in the first inning. Foul ball there for Prince. And Prince goes up and fouls that one off over her eyes. Be an 0-2 count. Snap throw there by Eric. And she's going to pick Van Scooter off first, as Van Scooter was sleeping out on the baseline. So that'll be the first out of the inning, as Prince now has a 1-2 count. And she fouls that changeup off into a big puddle down the left field line. The umpire's going to take a look at that as that ball's thrown in to be dried off, and Wilcox has a new one. Count remains 1-2. And swing and a miss for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Hakes. Hakes grounded into a fielder's choice in the first inning. And she takes a strike. Swing and a miss there for Hakes for strike 2. And ball 1. Hakes digs back in with a 1-2 count. And ball 2, bit outside. 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the third. And ball 3, again, just a bit outside. Full count now on Hakes. And nice change up there from Wilcox to get Hakes on the swing and miss, and out number 3. 1-2-3 inning there for the Lady Gators as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. And Peyton Gordon will be leading off in 60 seconds. Gordon with a swing and a miss. Oh, 2 count here. Ball 1 bounces in. And a swing and a miss there, and a nice pitch from Hakes at the knees. So Gordon will head back to the dugout, the first out of the inning. And Sienna Lathrop will be back up for the Lady Gators. She struck out swinging in the first inning. Strike 1 called. And Lathrop grounds that one to Van Scooter with a nice play on the hop as she fires it over to Francis for out number 2. And that'll bring up Bria Wilcox, who struck out in the first inning. Ball 1 low. Swing and a miss for strike 2. I'm sorry, 1-1 count. Wilcox grounds that one foul. 1-2 count. That one's high. 2-2 count here for Wilcox. And a swing and a miss. So Hakes gets out of the inning. And we'll head to the top of the fourth with the Terrors still leading 4-1. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Well, so I switched it last game, and when I turned it on today, it said secret your warning notice for your second warning.
I think that's just arbitrary. Yeah, it was just a carryover in the actual unit itself. You know what I mean? So, it was just keeping track of what things just did. When it's a new card. Yeah, I can log into the account real quick. Look at it. Yeah, it should be good.
McDivitt to lead off for the Lady Terrors. She struck out looking in her last plate appearance and takes strike one. She lines that to short. Glasgow up with a throw and a strike to Gordon for out number one. That'll bring up right fielder Pierce. She grounded out to third in her first plate appearance. Ball one called. Swing and a miss there for Pierce. Pierce squares to bunt, but fouls that one off. So we'll have a 1-2 count here with one out. And Pierce fouls that one off. Another foul ball. As Pierce stays alive here. 1-2 count and one out. Pierce is choked way up. And she lines that one to third. Nice grab there by Bryn Evans, who throws to first just to be sure. But she was called out on the catch. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Smith. Smith's single to the last plate appearance and has been on base both times today. Ball one called. Ball too high. Ball 3, so 3-0 count here on Smith. Strike 1 called. And ball 4 low. So the Terriers have a base runner here with 2 outs, and Bickford will be up. Bickford has tried a butterway on both plate appearances so far. It worked once. She struck out last inning. Strike 1 called. As Smith takes a big lead at second. She thinks about a delayed steal, but heads back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Matt Eric try to catch her off the base here on this pitch. As Bickford digs in. Bickford squares the bunt. She gets that one down, but it's foul. So an 0-2 count here now on Bickford. Evans still playing shallow at third, even though there's 2 strikes. And that'll be ball 1. And strike 3 looking. Wilcox again keeps the Terriers scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 4th with a 4-1 ball game. And we'll have Maddie Eric, Elena McCurvey, and Gianna Glasgow coming up for the Lady Gators. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Maddie Eric leading off for the Lady Gators. Maddie grounded out to first in the first inning. Eric squares the bunt. That's popped up, and Drummond squeezes it for out number 1. So that'll bring up McCurvey. Kirby grounded out to first, her first plate appearance. Kirby fouls that one off. Sherman will chase it down and get it back out to Hakes. Ball 1 called inside. 1-1 count. Kirby again fouls it off. 1-2 count. Now McCurby's choking up. And she watches ball 2 roll in. And McCurby grounds that one to third. Van Scooter knocks it down, but McCurby's going to be safe on the infield single. And that'll bring up Glasgow. Gianna had the first hit of the game, her first plate appearance. She comes up now with 1 out and McCurby on first. Glasgow fouls that one straight back. Almost hit her father. And she digs in with the 0-1 count. And swing and a miss there. Kirby takes off, and she's going to steal second. Oh, 2 count now on Glasgow. Who now has McCurby in scoring position. And Glasgow lines that one to left. That gets over the left fielder's head, rolls to the fence. McCurby's going to score easily. Glasgow gets to second, and she's going to stay there with a stand-up double. And that'll bring up Brent Evans, who drove in the first run of the game for the Lady Gators, with 1 out here. Evans takes that pitch outside. Evans is way ahead of that one. Fouls it out of play. Ball 2 outside. Higgs has been pounding the outside corner today. At some point, you'll start going inside on the Gators. Evans fouls that one straight back. 2-2 count now. Drummond sits up outside again. Evans goes out and fouls that one off. So getting all the foul balls in here with a 2-2 count on Evans. 1 out with a runner on second. And Lady Gators trailing 4-2. Evans falls off the inside pitch, stays alive. Evans checks her swing, and we've got a full count. Drummond looking for the inside pitch here. And Evans lines that one to right. Prince is over to field that as Glasgow rounds third. The throw comes into Francis, who cuts it off, and Glasgow's going to score. Evans will stay at first with the RBI single. So the second RBI today for Bryn Evans. And Lady Gators now trail 4-3 with Alyssa Tanner up the bat. Ball one is high, gets past Drummond. Evans is going to slide into second on the wild pitch. And 1-0 count on Tanner, who struck out her first plate appearance. But the tying run is on second here with one out for the Lady Gators. Tanner takes strike one at the knees. 1-1 count now. And Tanner lines that one to first, and Francis fields it foul, so Evans will head back to second. 1-2 count now. Tanner fouls that one off to stay alive. Tanner again fouls one off. That one's straight back out of play. Drummond will throw a new ball into Hakes. And Drummond sets up way outside there. Hakes hits her spot, but it's outside the plate. And we got a 2-2 count now on Tanner. Tanner with a swing and miss there on the rise ball. Nice pitch from Hakes. That'll bring up Emily Eric with 2 outs. And again, Evans still at second base. Ball one high. Swing and a miss there from Eric. Evans with a big lead. Drummond pump fakes, but nothing happening. Ball 2. 2-1 count here with 2 outs. Swing and a miss there. So 2-2 count with 2 outs. And swing and a miss for out number 3. But the Lady Gators do score 2. Close the gap to 4-3 as we head to the top of the 5th. We'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, Francis up to lead it off for the Lady Terrors. She has walked twice today. And she watches first pitch outside for ball 1. Ball 2, a little closer, but still not over the plate. And Francis grounds out into short. Glasgow charges it, fires to first. And Gordon squeezes it for out number 1. That'll bring up Drummond. Drummond is 1 for 2 today. I'm sorry, 0 for 2. Her first plate appearance was an error. She's 0 for 2. She comes up with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. And she fouls that one straight back, strike 1. Wilcox tries to change up. That floats a little high. 1-1 count. That pitch is a bit low. Ball 2. Ball 3 outside. 3-1 to Drummond. And Drummond grounds that one. Evans over to field it. Fires it to Gordon, who stretches for out number 2. And that'll bring up Van Scooter. Van Scooter's walked twice today. Ball 1 outside. And Scooter lines that one foul. 1-1 count. Ball 2. And Van Scooter lines that one right back up the middle for a single. Eric gets that in. And Van Scooter will stay at first with 2 outs here. And Lexi Prince will pick up the bat. Sorry, Rayella Hakes is up to bat. Nope, correct myself again. Prince is up to bat. So Prince has struck out swinging so far today twice. Takes the first pitch outside. Ball 2, snap throw down by Eric, but Van Scooter gets back. 2-0 count here with 2 outs. Ball 3, scooped up by Eric, holds Van Scooter at first. Strike 1 called there. 3-1 count now. Strike 2 called on the outside corner. Full count now with 2 outs. Van Scooter will be off on the pitch. And Prince grounds that one up the middle. Glasgow fields it right on second to get the force out. Nice play there by Gianna. So the Lady Gators once again hold the potent Terror offense off the board. Since the first inning, they've done a nice job of knocking the ball down and keeping runs from crossing the plate. And we'll head to the bottom of the 5th here with the Lady Gators trailing by 1. Got it. No, I got the book. Peyton Gordon will lead off the 5th here for the Lady Gators. She struck out swinging in the first inning. Swing and a miss for strike 1 for Gordon. swing and a miss on a rise ball for an 0-2 count. And Gordon takes ball 1 low. And Gordon lines that one to right field. It drops fair. Gordon's going to round first, head for second. And she's going to make it with a stand-up double. So Gordon with a nice shot down the right field line. Get the leadoff double for the Lady Gators. And that'll bring up leadoff hitter Sienna Lathrop. Lathrop is 0 for 2 so far today. Grounded out to third, her last plate appearance. And she grounds that one towards third. That's scooped up by Hakes. Nobody covering third. Lathrop's going to be safe as Francis was off the bag. And that'll put runners at the corners for the Lady Gators with the pitcher Bria Wilcox up to bat. Coach Francis is going to call time to talk to her infielders after that miscue. And Coach Wilcox is going to talk to Sienna Lathrop about trying to take second base here with no outs and runners at the corners. So Wilcox is up, looking to make contact after 2 strikeouts. But she can help herself here with runners on the corners and no outs. She squares the bunt and gets that one down. Francis fields it. Francis tags Wilcox, but Gordon is able to slide in under the tag. And Lathrop is still at second, but the Gators tie the score with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th as Maddie Eric will come up to bat. Maddie Eric digs in and takes ball 1. Eric is 0 for 2 today, as she now has the go-ahead run at second with 1 out. And swing and a miss there. Eric takes that one low, 2-1 count. And ball 3, low and outside. And that one, Eric hits off the fist. It's fielded by Smith as Lathrop's going to head to third. Van Scooter knocks that down, but Lathrop is going to be safe as Eric gets the runner over. So McCurvey comes up now with a go-ahead run at third and 2 outs. Kirby is 1 for 2. Singled her last at bat on an infield single. She really chokes up here and takes the first pitch outside. Swing and a miss there from McCurvey. 1-1 count. Kirby takes that one inside. 2-1 count. And that one bounces in. 3-1 count now on McCurvey as Drummond pump fakes Lathrop back to third. Kirby fouls that one off. So full count now with 2 outs. And McCurvey grounds that one to second. Bickford fields it and gets it over to Francis for the 3rd out. But the Lady Gators once again push a run across, and we now have a tie score, 4-4, as we head to the top of the 6th. We'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, we head to the top of the 5th, or I'm sorry, top of the 6th here with the Lady Gators tied with the first place Lady Terrors. 4-4. Ray L. Hakes, the pitcher, leading off for the Terrors. She grounds that one to second. O'Rourke fields it and gets it over to Gordon for the 1st out. So a 1 pitch out there for Wilcox. That'll bring up Remy McDivitt, who came into the game last inning defensively for her sister. She squares the bunt and does offer at the ball for strike 1. Ball 1 high. McDivitt squares again. Takes that one outside. 2-1 count. Strike 2 called. 2-2 count. All 3 high, the McDivitt takes. So full count now with 1 out. McDivitt fouls that one off. And another foul ball grounded down towards the Gator dugout. And that one's lined to right field. Curvy over to field it. She gets it into second base quickly. But McDivitt with a 1-out single to right field. That'll bring up the right fielder, Pierce. Pierce is 0 for 2 today, grounding out to third both times. Swing and a miss for strike one. Pierce squares the bunt and fouls that one off. 0-2 count now. So 0-2 count here on Pierce. Wilcox looks in, and Pierce grounds that to short. Glasgow flips it to O'Rourke for the first out. No play at first base, so they get the lead runner with 2 outs, and leadoff hitter Janelle Smith will be up. Smith lines a first pitch to right field. McCurvey scoops that up and fires to second. Almost gets Pierce there, but runners now at first and second with Bickford up. Bickford is 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And she'll take the first pitch for ball 1. So the Gators have 2 outs here. Go-ahead run is at second for the Terrors as Bickford digs in. Bickford takes that pitch high. Not a very big strike zone here for Bria to target. That one just a bit outside, so a 3-0 count. As I'm sure Bickford's taken all the way here. She takes a strike at the knees. 3-1 count now with 2 outs. She squares the bunt again, and that's going to be called a ball. So Bickford draws the 5-pitch walk, and that'll leave the bases loaded for third place hitter Bailey Francis. And the Gators are going to talk about this situation as Coach Daniels heads to the mound. Francis is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. She had a big game the first matchup between these two teams. And obviously a dangerous hitter batting third in the lineup for the Terrors. So the Gators break. Once again, they've got 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Score tied 4-4. But the Lady Terrors have the bases loaded and freshman Bailey Francis up to bat. Francis lines the first pitch to Glasgow, who flips it to O'Rourke, and the Gators get out of it. Nice inning there from Glasgow. And the Lady Gators will head to the bottom of the 6th, tied 4-4 with the NTL leading Lady Terrors. Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's all right. I'll text the other one when I get. I can't remember what the other one was. They said. All right, so Lady Gators coming up to bat here in the bottom of the 6th. They got out of a bases loaded jam in the top of the 6th to keep the score tied at 4. And Gianna Glasgow will lead off. Glasgow's 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. As she snaps out of a funk she was in for a couple of games. And she lines the first pitch to the right center gap. That's going to get to the fence. Glasgow's going to round second. She's heading to third. The ball comes into third. And Van Scooter's going to hold on to that as Glasgow leads off with a stand-up triple. Coach Francis is going to call time here and discuss the situation with her team, as Bryn Evans will be up now with the go-ahead run at third. And no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. So here we go. Bryn Evans will dig in for the Lady Gators. Gianna Glasgow leads off the inning with a stand-up triple. And she represents the go-ahead run at third base with no outs. Evans takes the first pitch at her knees for strike 1. Evans takes that pitch high. I think the Lady Gators may have had some kind of play on there in the first pitch. Evans doesn't usually take many pitches, and Coach Barnett was talking to Gianna after the pitch. Seemed like she was supposed to do something that she didn't. Anyways, Evans has a 1-1 count here. She pops that one up foul. So 1-2 count now with no outs. And Evans will choke up here with 2 strikes. She'll take that one low and outside for ball 2. 2-2 count. Ball 3 outside. So Evans has worked it to a full count here with no outs. And Evans grounds that one to second. Bickford comes in, and that's going to be safe for Glasgow at the plate as the Lady Gators take the lead on Bryn Evans' RBI. So that makes it 5-4 for the Lady Gators with Alyssa Tanner at the plate. Still no outs. And the first pitch is low. Drummond fires down to first, but Evans dives in safe. Tanner misses that one, so 1-1 count. Again, Evans drawing all kinds of attention at first base. And that strike called at the knees. 1-2 count. Tanner will again choke up here with 2 strikes against Hakes. And Tanner will take that one outside for ball 1. Correction, ball 2. 2-2 count. That one bounces past Drummond. Evans is going to take second. And Tanner's worked a full count here. The last pitch was Hake's 100th of the game. Tanner stays alive with another foul ball. And ball 4. Tanner works a walk. And that'll put runners at first and second for the Lady Gators with no outs. And Emily Eric up to bat. So Eric digs in with no outs. She squares the bunt, gets that down, and Drummond's going to pick that up foul as it was starting to roll back towards fair territory. Terrors are going to stay shallow here at the corners, expecting Eric to bunt again. Eric digs in, and she swings at the high pitch there. Evans is way off and tries to draw a throw from Drummond, but she heads back to second. So 0-2 count here now on Emily Eric. And swing and a miss there. So 1 out now for the Gators. As Gordon will come up. Gordon doubled her last plate appearance. And she'll come up with runners on first and second and 1 out. Gordon squares the bunt, but takes a called strike. Gordon fouls that one out. 0-2 count. And Gordon grounds that one to second. Bickford's going to field that, and get it over to first for the out. As Gordon advances the runners, and that'll bring up leadoff hitter Sienna Lathrop with 2 outs here, and runners at second and third. Lathrop, who's 1 for 3 today, takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. That one's inside as well. Trickles away from Drummond, but she's able to pick it up and keep Evans at third. So 2-0 count here for Lathrop. Swing and a miss there for Lathrop. 2-1 count. And Lathrop pops that one. It gets over Van Scooter's head. Evans is going to score. Tanner gets to third. And Lathrop's going to be safe on the infield single. And that'll give the Gators a 2-run lead with Bria Wilcox up to bat. Wilcox with a swing and the miss. Lathrop's going to steal second. No throw. So runners now at second and third. 2 outs. And the Gators with a 2-run lead. That ball's low as Tanner dances back to third. And Wilcox grounds that one to first. Francis fields it and gets the out, but the Gators score 2. They take a 6-4 lead as we head to the top of the 7th. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Always is. Should have told her to jump a little higher. All right, so the Gators get ready here in the top of the 7th. Cleanup hitter Carrie Drummond will lead off for Otto Eldred, followed by Ayla Van Scooter and Lexi Prince. Drummond is 0 for 3 today. And Drummond takes ball 1. And Drummond lines that one to center. Eric comes in, and Eric squeezes out for out number 1. That'll bring up Van Scooter. Van Scooter singled her last plate appearance and walked 2 previous appearances to that. So she'll come up with 1 out. And Wilcox's pitch is a bit low for ball 1. Swing and a miss there. 1-1 count. Ball 2 bounces in. 2-1 count now on Van Scooter. And Scooter squares the bunt and offers, but unable to make contact on the low pitch. That gets a 2-2 count. Coach Francis not happy with the Lady Terrors bunting efforts today. She continues to try to coach them to offer in the strike zone. Ball 3 high. So a full count here for Van Scooter. And ball 4 gets to the backstop as Van Scooter draws a walk. And that'll bring up Lexi Prince, the tying run with 1 out. Prince is 0 for 3 today. And we'll see how aggressive Coach Francis wants to be here. Trailing by 2 and 1 out. Swing and a miss for strike 1. And a foul ball there. 0-2 count on Prince. And that one's grounded to short. Glasgow fields it. She tries to flip it to O'Rourke, but Van Scooter would already beat the ball there. So Prince is going to be safe on the fielder's choice. And that'll put the tying run at first and the go-ahead run at the plate in the form of pitcher Rael Hakes. Hakes is also 0 for 3 so far today with 1 out as Wilcox readies. And first pitch is high, ball 1. Hakes lines that one down to the third base line, foul and out of play. Right in a pond. So she'll return to the plate with a 1-1 count. Ball's low. Van Scooter dances off second, but she's going to head back. 2-1 count now on Hakes. And ball 3 high. So nowhere to put Hakes here with the runners on first and second. Hakes squares. She takes a strike, but Van Scooter is going to steal third and awkwardly go into the base. Looks like she's okay. But we do have a full count here. And Prince followed Van Scooter. So she's at second. And ball 4 called on Hakes. So bases loaded, 1 out. And that'll bring up the 8th place hitter, McDivitt. McDivitt singled to right field, her first plate appearance, as she entered the game in the 4th inning for her sister. And she's going to dig in here with the bases loaded. That pitch gets past her, but Van Scooter's going to stay at third. Gordon playing way in at first base. Foul ball there. That catches Matty Eric's freehand. Umpire's going to take a minute. So a 1-1 count here on McDivitt. McDivitt squares the bunt, and that's going to be foul. Looked like the contact play there for the Terrors as Van Scooter was coming down the line. 1-2 count on McDivitt. McDivitt chokes way up and takes ball 2. 2-2 count. And that's a foul tip that Matty Eric just can't squeeze. So 2-2 count still. McDivitt digs back in. And she grounds that ball to short. Glasgow comes up throwing. Van Scooter's going to be safe at home. And that makes the score 6-5. Still 1 out. And that'll bring up Pierce. Right fielder's 0 for 3 today. She takes ball 1 as Prince dances off third. Wilcox's 150th pitch tonight as she tries to squelch the rally. Pierce grounds that one. O'Rourke picks it up. She's going to take it to first and get the out, but Prince scores to tie the game. And the Lady Terrors will now have runners at second and third with 2 outs. So nice play there by Lily O'Rourke to get the out. And we now have Hakes at third, McDivitt at first, and the leadoff hitter Smith up. Smith lines that one right up the middle. That's going to get through the outfield. Emily Eric comes up throwing. She gets it to second. And that's going to be a 2-run go-ahead single for Janelle Smith. So a big hit there from Smith, as that'll bring up Bickford with 2 outs, and the Terrors take the 8-6 lead. Bickford squares the bunt. Smith's going to steal second. Throw just not in time, as she'll be safe. And a 1-0 count on Bickford. Ball too high to Smith, or to Bickford. Smith's at second. Ball 3 outside. And ball 4 called. So Bickford draws a 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Bailey Francis. Francis is 0 for 2 today with 2 walks. Lined out her last appearance to Glasgow on a beautiful play from the shortstop. Francis grounds that one to third. Evans is going to pick it up and step on third for the 3rd out. But the Terrors score 4 in the top of the 7th to take an 8-6 lead, as we'll head to the bottom of the 7 with the Lady Gators looking to come from behind. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Here we go as Lady Gators look to rally. After giving up 4 runs in the top of the 7th, they're looking to score 2 here to at least tie the game in the bottom of the 7th. Maddie Eric will be the leadoff hitter. Eric takes strike 1 at the knees. A lot of space down the left field line. As Eric takes ball 1. McDivitt playing way over towards center. And Eric grounds that one to left. And she's going to have a leadoff single as McDevitt gets that into Bickford. And the Lady Gators have something going with a leadoff runner on. And that'll bring up McCurvey. Kirby 1 for 3 today. And a swing and a miss there from McCurvey. As Drummond pump fakes Eric back to first. Kirby takes that one to the knees for strike 2.
All right, baby. What's the right?
Kirby fouls that one off to stay alive. 0-2 count with no outs. And Drummond says that ball's damaged. So we got the ball situated. McCurvey digs back in here with a 0-2 count, and she takes that pitch low. 1-2 count. And McCurvey, that one ricochets off Hakes' glove. They're going to get the lead runner on a nice play there by Smith. But McCurvey will be safe on the fielder's choice, and Glasgow will be up for the Lady Gators. Glasgow 3 for 3 today. Single, double, and triple. Cycle here would be beautiful to tie the game for the Lady Gators. As she takes ball one outside. McCurvey hits that off the end of the bat. Hakes with a diving stop. She flips it back to Francis, who can't secure it, as McCurvey gets back to first. And that'll be 2 outs for the Lady Gators, with Bryn Evans coming up. So Evans digs in and takes the first pitch low as McCurvey heads for second, and she's going to be safe on the stolen base. Evans takes a strike at the knees. 1-1 count. And ball too low. That gets past Drummond. And McCurvey's going to take third on the pass ball. So 2-1 count now on Evans. And ball 3 high. And Evans takes ball 4. The ball gets past Drummond. McCurvey's going to slide in as Evans takes a big round first, but she's going to get back as Hakes gets back to the circle. And that'll bring up Alyssa Tanner, with the Gators now trailing by 1 and the tying run at first base. Tanner walked her last plate appearance. And she popped that one up foul. 0-1 count. Tanner takes that one at the knees as Evans steals second. So the Gators now have the tying run at second base with 2 outs and an 0-2 count here on Tanner. And a swing and a miss there as the Gators are unable to push across a tying run. So for the second time in a week, they drop a 1-run game to a team tied for first place in the league, as they'll settle for an 8-7 loss. And we'll be back in action on Thursday at Cameron County.